Welcome back, everybody. My name is Gregtech, and this is Gregtech New Horizons. So I tried to make a video like this during my first season playthrough, and I really didn't do it too much justice, so I figured I'd give it another shot here in Season 2. This video is being recorded a little ways after. I think currently I've got episode 10 posted, and I've got a couple more before you reach this one. But I wanted to take a moment and show you how I breed crops. And what I do is I start with a crop matron. I could do it over on my forestry farm if it was powered and had water and had fertilizer. The crop matron makes it a little bit nicer because you can just have the water in it. You can add fertilizer if you want, but you don't have to have it, and then it'll take care of everything from there. So I have a speckling of crops all over the place here, but I wanted to talk about how I do things. So down here I've got just some of your typical glow flowers. Those guys are just the standard that I use when I'm trying to get glowstone without having to go to the nether. Two of these guys down in an extractor will get you a piece of glowstone dust, and I was using those in order to make the I'm not sure what it is. You combine it with dye in order to make the Project Red colors for the chipsets. Anyway, over here we have the four main witchery crops. So I have those crops growing in case I need to use their stuff for when I get to witchery. Over here I have live root that has bred, and here is another live root seed right there. This is my primary stickweed. I've got it growing in a little 2x2 here. These other two, I'll explain how I do my crossbreeds when I get other seeds, and that's why these guys are over here. But primarily these guys handle my stickweed breeding. You can see here I've got a 17-22-8, and over here I've got a 20-29. I'm trying to get the gain stat up. So for those who don't know, the three different stats that you have are growth, gain, and resistance. Your growth determines how fast it grows. Every seed has a different set of growth points that it must achieve to get to the next stage. The higher your growth, the faster it'll get to that next stage. However, if it gets up to 24 or above, these guys turn into weed breeders. Essentially, every spot next to them will start popping up weeds. So trying to keep the stats somewhere between 17 to 20 is pretty good. The highest you want to go, though, is the 23. Gain is, of course, when you right-click or harvest them, how much of the resource you'll get, how good the odds are. I want to say at 0 gain, it's like a 0 to 1 or maybe a 0 to 2. But when it's up around the 31 mark, it's like 0 to 6 chance for drops. The resistance, you only keep that around 10. You can get it higher, but the resistance stays fairly low. Resistance is how easy it is to get a seed from these plants when you left-click it or, well, not necessarily with the spade, but when you left-click it with your hand when it's fully grown, how good your odds are of getting the seed from that plant. Here you can see another live root has spread. I hit those. Right now, my live roots, I am trying to get to grow troll plant, and I've gotten an eating plant, but due to an unfortunate circumstance where the eating plant will actually bite you after growth stage 3, it bit me, drugged me right here. I thought I was going to die because the vision zoomed in. I got blindness, and so I jumped, and I did not make it past it, and I jumped on top of it and trampled the thing. So I know it will give eating plant, even though eating plant isn't really that useful. It's mainly used for cactus, but you can get cactus by itself. So it was more just a trophy of saying, yeah, I've got that plant. And then the last plant that I'm trying to get from it is the, oh, what plant is that? I am trying to get the, Stelia franks from, also from the Twilight Forest, so that I can make those harder materials from there. Over here I have diareed, currently using those to try and get the Bob's Your Uncle plant. Over here is oil berries that I'm crossing with a stickweed so that I can stat it up in order to get it to grow faster. Oil berries are your best bet for getting transformium, which is a way of getting UUM and UUA. Over here, I've got a couple of different plants. The primary one here is the Stargadium. The Stargadium I'm trying to use to get Space Plant, at least until... Ooh, that was not a good thing. Space Plant, at least until I get the Transformium from here. Transformium is actually a better plant for Space Plant, but I have the Stargadium, and so I may as well use it. Here, it looks like we have Starwort. Now, this is a good example of what I do. If I don't have the Starwort seed over in my filing cabinet already, which I believe I do anyway. Let's see, Starwort, Shining, Slime Plant. As you can see, it keeps all of these guys in here. This thing is fantastic. There's Starwort. So I already have a Starwort seed. So normally what I would do is I'd just whack this guy, because I already have a seed over there that I'm not too worried about it, and Starwort doesn't give too many byproducts of plants that I don't already have. But let's say I didn't have Starwort. I got this one. I don't want to just right-click it with the spade. What you want to do is you want to get another fast-growing plant. I primarily use stickweed. You can see there it's a 2019 9, and then I'll crossbreed here. Now what'll happen is these two guys will eventually get another Starwort plant here, as long as this guy is at growth stage 3 of 4. They have to be one away from your max growth stage. And it will crossbreed here, and then I can use that one to try and right-click and get a Starwort seed. And that way, if I don't get one, I drop another set of breeding sticks and wait for it to pop up again. Unfortunately, here with the oil berries, I already have this guy. I'm trying to get it statted up, so I could put another stickweed like here and try and crossbreed off of that, but at least in terms of this, I'm trying to do that, and if you get lucky, you'll get a seed. Now, here comes the real dilemma. That seed is an 11-11-6. So do I want to replace this guy, which is a 2-2-1, so that I get at higher stats while I'm doing stuff, or do I replace the stickweed and try and get these guys to breed up together? Now, with this guy only being a 2-2-1 and this other one being an 11-11-6, I am instead going to go ahead and kill this guy here. Oh, look, he actually gave me a seed. And then I'm actually going to plant this one and try and get another one that's slightly higher stats after this guy grows. In order to help facilitate that, I will take one piece of fertilizer and right-click it on there and get that guy to hopefully get up his stats a little bit more. More diareed, which I don't need. I'm trying to get Bob's Your Uncle. And similar thing happened over here. I don't know what this crop is. That's Shining. So that drops silver, small spots of silver. So I already have that plant. I don't need it. I'm just getting rid of it. Same with this guy. I already have that plant, just getting rid of it. Over here, this guy just popped up. And my portable scanner is out of power. Right here I have Pyrolucium, and it's at 2 of 3, so it's one away from its max size. I'm going to go ahead and set down a pair of crop sticks and try and get this guy now to propagate here. He was actually a crossbreed between Platina and Stickweed, trying to get a higher stat Platina. Platina, being a higher tier plant, is also good for some of the other higher tier plants like Pyrolucium that I still have yet to get. So instead, drop down here. I'm going to fill that guy up. And you can't keep these guys sitting around for too long. You saw that set of weeds that I had to pull up from there before. Weeds will spread. Weeds will kill your other plants. So you don't want that. When they're in their first stage and their second stage, they're usually mostly harmless. It's when they get to their third stage that they can start taking over crop sticks with other plants already in them and start killing them. And before long, you'll have a giant field of weeds instead of a nice field of actual useful plants. So that's pretty much it. You guys have seen pretty much how I handle when I get crossbreeds, if I don't have that seed yet, you want to park something else. In my case, I use stickweed, and then try and crossbreed that. That way you're guaranteed to have this guy, and its spawn you can try and get seeds from, rather than hitting it and then, oh crud, now you have to wait for the original pair to crossbreed and get you the ones you're looking for. I know that can sometimes be confusing reading in the wiki and whatnot, how crossbreeding works, but essentially if you get one you need, try and crossbreed a second one, or even a third one, like these guys here can do that. And then I like to carry around that portable scanner, because it does then give you the stat stuff down in the lower right hand corner, versus the unscanned crops where it just says crop and you don't know what it is, and then you try and get it to come up, and if you get the seed, taking it to a scanner or using something like the crop analyzer. Just all around, I find it a better way to run around with that portable scanner and do things that way. So I am going to continue to breed seeds. I have, I want to say I have, whoops, how much do I, almost fully powered. I want to say I have 7 more seeds that I'm trying to get, which are the high tier ones. Once you get up pretty high, and I say pretty high, and that's not a great term, but once you get some stats up fairly high, you can come over here like to this guy, and it's actually better to not use the spade and just to left click them and get a seed that way. And then since I know that one's a high stat, since this guy's a 17-22-8 and a 20-29, at that point you can use something like the crop analyzer or the scanner in order to see just how good your crop is. 13-13-5, is that the one I just picked up? That is the one I just picked up. That is a terrible stat, probably because it bred most of its stats with the Snowbell and not with the other one next to it. So in any case, that is, in a nutshell, how to work on your Gregtech seeds, your Gregtech plants, trying to get those guys to raise up in stats. Sorry, I always throw my old seeds that I don't need over the edge, just so that they get them out of my inventory. I have a backup, but I don't like the backup of the oil berries, so I'm going to go ahead and put this guy back in here just in case. But yeah, that is how I breed my seeds. A better option, or an option that might be better, is to start filling the field. I'll show you guys my field. This is a max-sized multi-farm from forestry, and when you have it in orchard mode, this is how big your field can be. It is 37 from that edge to that edge, and about 17 running across. So, you know, 8 and then 1 and then another 8. And that is a max size forestry farm that you can use to breed all kinds of plants. And it would probably suit me better to breed my plants on here, since that's where they're going to go. But I've been stubborn and haven't run power or fertilizer or water over. Well, I guess I have water. That's what that pipe is under there. But I don't have fertilizer or power, since it requires both. So I'm over here just using water. And on the few plants where I need it, I can slap down a little bit of fertilizer and get them to grow a little bit faster. So I will see you all in the future in some of my other videos. I hope this was informative. Till then.